How many times have you found yourself going to the store to get a cute notebook and just not finding the right one? We are happy to share about a brand we love, Be Rooted. Be Rooted is the first black owned stationery brand to be sold at Target, which is not easy at all and a huge deal. And what we love most about Be Rooted is that the art shows black women of different skin tones and body types. The products are also great quality and reasonably priced, and we love a great deal. So when you have a chance, stop by your local Target or simply visit their site and check them out. All information will be in our description.
Black woman, it's time to heal and feel, be real. You just gotta take your time, unwind and chill. Cause now it's time to love yourself, build emotional and mental health. Cause black woman, it's time to heal and feel, be real.
Hey everybody, we are back with another episode of Black Women Healing Podcast. And today we have my friend, a very special guest, Dominique Jeffries. But before we introduce Dominique, we're going to start off with our segment called This or That. So this is very relevant to my life. So I'm going to ask you all, would you all rather like a day party or like the club or nighttime function?
Day party.
Myra, what are you thinking? Oh, Dominique.
Immediately.
Dominique.
What did you say?
Why would you say day? She said day party.
Day party. I can't. I feel like the older I get, the nighttime is just not for me. I just like the sun. I like being out. I like being able to see people in the daylight. And yeah, it's just more fun to me in the for like day parties versus night.
You said you like to see people.
That is funny. For me, it's definitely all about the season. I feel like the club is nostalgic in that it reminds me of all the good times, and my friends are always a vibe. So daytime parties in the spring and in the summertime, but give me the club in the winter. Like I love going to the club with my friends. It's always a vibe. Yes. Especially now that's actually feeling you. Because I don't want to be outside when it's cold, but when it's nighttime, I feel like we do the winter like stuff. Even fall, we do the fall like stuff, all the little cute stuff in the daytime, and then we go home, we pregame, and then we get real cute, and then we go out at night. Whereas in the summertime, it's like the sun is out, let's go be in the sun, let's go outside, like literally be outside, and then by the time the nighttime is wrapping up, we all crash somewhere at somebody's house, or like we do something at nighttime that's chill. So my friends like to keep it going. So yeah.
Woo. Yeah, don't we? Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with both of you all. I think it is not even seasons for me, but just depending on how I feel. Like sometimes you want to be done and back at the house. Like it's nice. It's something nice about getting some social time and still having time to get back home, to still get time for yourself, to relax and get ready for the next day, versus when you have like a night function. When you come back home, it's like, no, it's time to get to bed and get up for the next day, versus that daytime function. You like, dang, I done had a nice little day and I get to go home and chill out. Right. Like that. But it depends on the vibe. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm feeling the nighttime thing. So for me, it's about the vibe and the energy and what's the mood. So all right. Thank you all for entertaining me in this or that. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest. Today we have Dominique Jeffries. She is a plant-based holistic health and business mentor. Her mission is to help families regenerate their lineage on a physical, spiritual, emotional, and financial level using organic superfood nutrition as their anchor to transformation. She believes the quality of food is that we eat equal to the life we live. When we use plant nourishment to transform our physical temple and regenerate our emotional body, we can transcend healing of our lineage forever. So, as you all can hear, we're going to talk about plant nutrition and emotional healing with Dominique Jeffries. And so, to start off, Dominique, how did you become a plant-based holistic health and business mentor?
Yeah, so honestly, I was guided by my grandparents. I lost all four of my grandparents by the time I was 18 to lifestyle diseases, specifically cancer and Alzheimer's. So I remember my grandfather, he passed when I was 18, but my grandmother, my other grandfather, and my other grandmother, they passed away when I was like in elementary, middle school. So I remember them like passing away like back to back. And I guess experiencing death at such a young age, especially like seeing them fine one day and then the next starting to deteriorate, it really impacted me and just the way that I develop relationships with people. And I started to really understand or to really value relationships with people and making sure that, I give enough love and respect to them while they're, here. And so when I started to get older, I started to learn about the quality of food that we eat and how it's related to a lot of the lifestyle diseases that people are suffering from. And I watched What the Health when I think it was like 2018, and that just completely opened my consciousness to just the food here in America, and especially in the South, because I grew up in Kentucky, so a lot of that information my parents, my grandparents didn't know. So immediately I was like, wow, like if they would have known this, things could have looked different. So let me experiment on myself and have my own experience and see how that is going to, shift my lifestyle. And so when I moved to Miami, a couple of months later, I decided to just transition to more of like a vegan lifestyle. And I did it temporarily. Like my intention was to really eat clean because I was going to be in the, in a tropical environment. So I would have more access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So I thought, which definitely a lot more than Kentucky, but I transitioned. And to be honest, like with the stress of living in a new state, being away from family, that was emotionally just a lot for me to try to like find find who I am now, a new version of myself. And then also working a lot with the stress of just not having enough time to prep food and grocery shop and all that. The convenience alone didn't allow me to stay on the healthy side. So I ate a lot of junk food, processed food, vegan food, like a lot of Doritos, a lot of French fries, and not a lot of fruits and vegetables. And I got to a point where I was like, I really need to lock in on my gut health. I ended up getting a very severe UTI that basically almost spread to my kidneys. And it took me out of work, so I wasn't able to make money. But it also just put a lot into perspective about the way that I was nourishing myself, and definitely with food, but also spiritually. I didn't feel like creative. I felt like I didn't have a purpose at the time. I was just working to make money. And that kind of like allowed me to settle down and just kind of sit back and think about how I wanted to create a new life for myself. And that was when I was introduced to like a gut reset, being able to introduce organic superfoods into my lifestyle that were convenient, that were a super higher quality source of plants that I was used to eating. And that really transformed my relationship with food and my relationship with myself. And I had such an incredible transformation where like I noticed like I had a lot more energy. I used to take naps all the time. Like I couldn't function without taking a nap. And I knew something was wrong because I'm like, here I am in my early 20s, like this is not okay. I remember just feeling bloated all the time and just disconnected from myself. And that was the first time that I felt like my nervous system was at rest. I felt like I had much more clarity, and I could actually like connect to the things that I wanted versus just kind of running on autopilot. And that shift for me was like, I want more people to experience this and to have something that's so tangible and so convenient for people to add into their life. I knew that it would transform their life too. And I do it in honor of my grandparents' name because they didn't have access, they didn't have the education. So now I'm, pretty much on this mission to be able to share it with more families so they don't have to experience that type of suffering, early on, or not having the resources to do that. So that's pretty much how I got into this whole experience.
Wow, thank you for sharing that with us. And as you started talking about, your various transitions and getting closer and closer to a healthier lifestyle, now I'm curious what a day just looks like for you. So can you walk us through a day of your life as a plant-based holistic health and business mentor?
Yeah. So a day in my life, and I will say every day is different, but there are some things that are the same. Now I really truly appreciate slow mornings. Like me and Donnie were talking about this early on, just like being able to wake up and feel rested, and just taking the time to myself first. Because before I would just wake up and I'm automatically on my phone. I'm either scrolling or I'm responding to a text or something. And now I'm like, I just want to be with myself and just check in on myself. I read this book. I can't remember what it was called. And the author was just saying, like, when you wake up, like, thank yourself for the bed that you're sleeping in. Thank yourself for the safety of, your home. So I really try to be present when I wake up immediately. I love to meditate. So I've been doing that as a practice for the past few months now. And the time kind of differentiates depending on the day, but sometimes I'll do at least like a 10-minute meditation just to kind of slow down. And then, I wake up, I always have either like some type of tea or water, coconut water or something, just to like nourish myself and hydrate myself in the morning. I've been working out, which was something that I was not doing for a long time. I wasn't consistent with working out. So I love moving my body. So I've been doing like Pilates, just like from like YouTube, and like mat Pilates. Sometimes I do like weight training, and that just feels so good for my body and my mental health to just be able to like sweat and move my body in that way. I love being outside. That's probably another reason why I said the day parties is more my vibe, because I love being in the sun. So I also prioritize that in the morning. And it's so hot in Miami that like I have to get out there in the morning, because by like 12 o'clock, it's like ridiculous. You can't even stand it. So so I like to spend time outside. And I also like to do a lot of my work outside too. So most of the time, by like 10 o'clock or so, I have meetings with either my team. I work with a organization, so I work with other leaders that are also passionate about holistic health. So we work together to impact more families. So I usually have a meeting with them just to make sure we're all on the same page, or if they have any questions with like connecting with people and networking with people. And then throughout the day, I have meetings with my clients, or also just reaching out to other leaders to share this resource and see if it's in alignment with their business, if they want to integrate it into their lifestyle or into their practice. And I eat a lot of fruit, a lot of plants. That's kind of like the foundation of my nutrition. And so I kind of snack on those throughout the day. And then I honestly, like towards the end of the day, the mornings and the evenings are like, that is my me time. So I do my best to go to sleep as early as I can, because I just feel much more connected to myself when I wake up, and I don't feel stressed, because sleep is like one of the number one components of health. I think a lot of people prioritize, fitness and nutrition, which is great, but without quality rest, like your brain, everything is not functioning properly. So sleep is a really big priority for me. And I guess that's kind of like what a day in the life of my routine looks like.
I'm curious because it's the season of stone fruit. And so I've been exploring different stone fruit. What's one fruit that you're enjoying this season? Because I've really gotten into like the fruits of the season, like really making sure I'm hunkering down on what is the fruit of the season, because it tastes so different when it's in season.
Wait, what is stone fruit?
I was going to say, I've never heard of stone fruit before.
Nectarines, plums. Sorry, y'all. I'm like really in my fruit bag right now, so I can talk
see. Stone fruit. Okay. But you're meaning it's the thing with the stone inside of it. Is that what you're saying? Like I get what you're saying.
Peaches, nectarines, plums, those are the stone fruit. And this season, donut peaches are in season, and they are like the best peaches I've ever had in my life.
Wow. I've never had a donut peach.
Yeah. That sounds good.
It's going to change your life. It's so good. And when I tell people about it, they're like, it can't be that good. And then they try it and they're like, whoa, this is amazing. So
no, I love peaches, love plums. I love cherries. Honestly, any fruit in the berry family is like my favorite. And cherries are just like a snack. You can just like, fruit is literally fast food. It's the original fast food. Like you don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to prep it. You don't have to cook it. Honestly, most of you don't even need to refrigerate it. Most of the time you go to the grocery store and a lot of the fruits are out, and then we bring it home and we put it in the fridge. But I love cherries, so that's probably one of my favorite that's like in season now. I was just telling my friend that I haven't had watermelon, like a good watermelon this season, so that's something that I'm gonna get in before summer is officially over with. But I would definitely say cherries. Anything in the berry family is like my favorite.
I love that. Yes. And out here in LA, we're really popular for the Texas watermelons. I feel like you have to be like a native to know about them, but it's the
Ooh.
watermelons they sell in the corner and it'll say Texas watermelon. That's the watermelon you want to buy. Don't just buy it from anybody.
Wow.
So
What makes it
just letting
different from
y'all know you
regular
got to get
water?
a Texas watermelon. It's just extra juicy. It's seeded, of course. I only eat seeded
It's
fruit.
sweeter.
But it's just like extra juicy and sweeter. Yes. Like when you
Well,
cut
she
it
said
open,
seeded
it
too. She only
and
eats
seeded.
seeded fruit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yep.
That's important.
So
There's
good.
a lot
So
going on with the soil. So having seeds in your fruit is the way that
Mm.
it should be. But you do the best that you
thank
can, I
you.
will say. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so, you were mentioning your grandparents, and so I want to just highlight for you, what emotional slash like generational trauma have you found that you've healed that you're most proud of, reflecting on, your grandparents and them being a part of the meaningful work that you're doing?
Yeah, that's such a beautiful question. I would say for me, and I also want to mention that healing is constant. Like it's not something like, oh, I checked this box, I healed it, and I moved on. Like I definitely have developed a lot of the skills and tools to move through it, and I feel a lot stronger in some of the struggles that I know my grandparents experienced that I took on within my life. But it's always something that does come up that I'm like, oh, this is a reminder. I need to just continue to work through it. But I would say the number one thing is working through my self belief, and self worth with knowing that I'm worthy to expand and to honestly create the life that I want, and not feeling held back by money or different like scenarios in life that kind of keep you from believing in yourself and knowing that you deserve everything that you want. I know there was a story my mom told me about my grandmother, and she was doing like taking like her driver's test, and I think the guy that was teaching her like yelled at her, and it really bothered her. It really struck a nerve with her, and she never drove again. So like all throughout my mom's childhood and even when I was born, my grandmother never drove, and I never understood why until my mom told me that reason why. And so it was like this fear of just her not being worthy enough or being enough to be able to move through that and transcend through that. And I believe that when I was born, I've always just had this innate sense of like curiosity and wanting to just do more and have more for myself. But I can tell that there's been times, especially like moving out of my hometown, moving away from family, that trauma would come up and would kind of almost keep me stagnant with wanting to even pursue the things that I wanted. And then being able like taking those types of reps to move through it is really the only way that you can grow, is through action. And that's something that has helped me. Even my mom, she's never lived outside of Louisville, outside of Kentucky. And I think that also just being an example and showing her what's possible to like, yeah, you can you can do whatever you want. You just have to remember your power. You have to use your imagination. And I love that I'm continuing to be an example of that. And like I said, I'm always evolving. There's always times where that comes up where I'm like, can I do that? I'm like, yes, like, of course I can, because I did this, so I love that I'm an extension of what my grandmother wasn't able to do. And then also even my mom, and being able to show my mom while she's still here what's possible.
I love that. I love that so much. Just like this piece of, obviously we're here because of our ancestors and our elders, but as much as we learn from them, they also learn from us.
Yeah.
And so I love that. Um, so, you know, and thinking of, I mean, you've lived in different states, you've dived into different career sources, or you've done a lot of different things. And so thinking of your relationships with people, do you feel like they've changed since you became a plant-based holistic health and business mentor? If so, how? If not, why do you think there hasn't been any changes?
There's definitely been a lot of changes. I mean, I have evolved. Just even the way that my lifestyle is and the way that I take care of myself is completely different from when I was growing up. I mean, Danica knows just our childhood and growing up in Kentucky in the South. Like the way that we eat was completely different than my lifestyle now. Even just like I don't drink alcohol anymore. And so even some of my relationships with friends that were based on that type of experience or situation is different now because I don't engage in that. And so my relationships have definitely changed. But I also think it's great for relationships to evolve and to look different. Like it shouldn't always look the same, especially if you have childhood friendships that, change throughout your adulthood, and that it opens up or creates space for you to create new relationships and new friendships that are now in alignment with your lifestyle. So yeah, I mean, definitely like not drinking alcohol anymore, not partying like I used to. And yeah, like opening up and having new friendships that are in alignment with the way that I live my life now, the way that I choose to take care of myself. I'm seeing now that I'm attracting friendships that do the same. And it just creates more expansion for us to be able to continue to live our lifestyle and our purpose, because we are like magnetizing that energy by being in community together. But yeah, my relationships have changed, but I believe for the better, for sure, on both sides.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think that. I love the fact that we can say change though, and it doesn't mean that you're not friends with these people or your relationship is not there. It just looks different, right? Like you're saying, and sometimes they're not there as well. But I do like the fact that we can change and evolve versus diminish. Um, which one of your clients' transformations has been the most profound to you?
Which one of my clients' transformations is the most profound? I would say there's a woman, shout out to Miss Jackie if she's listening to this at some point, but there's a woman that I met through like a lot of different mutual connections that is in Miami. She is in her late 50s and is a retired banker, and she has a lot of family members that have struggled with mental health issues. And she actually retired early to be able to take care of her family in that way. And when we met, she was really struggling with her gut health. It was so bad she couldn't even drink cold water without throwing up. And her daughter actually found me on Instagram and reached out to me and was like, I know you talk about gut health. I know you have this nutrition program that really helps people reset their gut. Like, I think my mom really needs this, because I think they had went out to dinner and she started to drink the water and she literally got up and had to go to the bathroom. She's like, she can't even really like live her life the way that she needs to. So yeah, she reached out to me and we connected. I introduced her to the program, and within the first week, she could drink cold water again. And I mean, mind you, living in Miami and not being able to drink cold water is crazy. Not even being able to drink water in general is something is wrong with where like her digestive system is throwing everything back up where it's not settled. So yeah, within the first week, she could finally drink cold water again. And she, lost a lot of inflammation and her digestive system improved and she just felt so much better. But one of the things that I love the most about her transformation is that she spiritually started to blossom. She used to tell me she would always be afraid of like taking photos of herself, or she didn't feel like she was worthy enough to show up and be seen in that way. And I think a lot of it had to do with maybe her weight, but being able to release a lot of that inflammation, which was mostly toxins that were just trapped in her tissues, she started to feel lighter and feel more connected to herself and felt free and confident to show up in her life. And even she would tell me like her friends and family just were like inspired by her, because she went from someone that never really took pictures of herself to now like on Instagram and like Facebook, just showing out and being able to impact an elder in that way. Whereas, like I said, coming into this from my grandparents, like, and watching them struggle to be able to pay it forward to other families and elders to give them like she always says, I feel like I have a new lease on my life. And I just think that's so beautiful because she's experiencing life in a different way.
Yes.
And she started sharing it with everyone. She actually has a Jamaican background, and her family was just so inspired by her journey that they also decided to start taking their health into their own hands. And they went on the program with her too. So we actually partnered in business together. And that has been a whole nother transformation, because now she's learning how to make money online by helping people through their health. And she's, in her late 50s, and she's like, I've never experienced anything like this before. Like this online, social sharing and making income online was just so innovative for her and fun. And so her being, retired and thinking that she was just going to not really have any new creative outlets for herself. This has been such an inspiration for her. And then at the same time, being able to impact her family. A lot of them have been struggling with diabetes and high blood pressure and are now noticing that their levels are balanced because they're transforming their health at such a deep level. So it's just really such a beautiful thing to witness, not just her physical transformation, but also like her relationship to herself emotionally and being able to shine her light. I feel like that's really what I love the most about this type of transformation, is that it's almost like turns the light back on in your life, where you feel like you're fine, you're going through life, and you feel healthy, but you never know what that next level of health can really be. And it's not just on a physical level, it's on all levels. So she's one of my favorite transformations I love to share and just inspire people that it doesn't matter how old you are. Age is literally just a number. And at any moment you can change your life if you make that decision, and you have not just a resource, but community around you to support you and continue to keep you on the path that you want to be on. So yeah, shout out to Miss Jackie.
Yes. Thank you for reminding us that we heal ourselves from the inside out, and healing is more than just mental health. It's also that physical component like you're mentioning. And so as we wrap up, I want to ask you if you have any quick takeaways for our listeners, and it can literally be anything.
Yeah. Wow. I would say every day, just take some time to go within, to just be at peace and be still and listen to your heart. Sometimes I think that, well, especially just the way the world is shifting now, we're so caught up with constantly consuming, right? We're constantly consuming social media, and then we're constantly like eating to feed, our emotions. And then we have, relationships and friendships where people are always around us. But I just encourage everyone that if you're listening now, to just take some time to yourself, whether that's journaling, whether that's meditation, whether that's just going for a walk, and just to be present, because there's something within you that your spirit is trying to speak to you that you might be using to distract you. And that stillness is really where you find a breakthrough and you find your power, because that's what it was for me. So I just, encourage everyone to do that, and to remember that, healing is not just on a physical level with food or fitness. It's truly through emotional healing, and you can use those as tools to help you connect back to yourself.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will have all of Dominique's information in our description. So like if you want to get this emotional healing, please hit up Dominique, and or just follow her Instagram, which will also be in our description. Dominique's content is really, really good. It's very personable. As you can see, like, she has her own personal story, which I think is important. So thank you all for listening to another episode of Black Healing Podcast. We will be back next Monday. Can y'all believe that Black Women Healing Podcast has been operating for 5 years? Yes, you heard me, 5 years. So y'all know we have to do something big to celebrate our 5th year anniversary. And so we're going to have a whole event in Compton, California, September 21st, which is a Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The theme, you all, is Backyard Boogie. We're talking like, barbecue, backyard games, spray paint tees, come out of your 90s. We're going to have a good time. More information to come, but go ahead and sign up in the link in our description. We want to know how many of y'all are coming, because there will be a cap off. So you better get your tickets ASAP, because y'all, we are going to celebrate big. 5 years is wild. So hope to see you all there.